I'm sorry I haven't been able to do more pronunciation guides until now. I've been busy with other projects, and I'm just now getting back to these. Hope I'll be able to upload these a little more regularly now, though. I'm going to this one really quick. This guide, and probably many of the next ones, will work on pronouncing many of the Getting to Know You posts from Keryu Pao's blog, his Na'vi Teri blog. This bit is about introducing someone other than oneself. And starting with this, because that's where the blog starts, but also because there's a fair amount of examples of self-introductions, and there's you can find all that on the Learn Na'vi website. Just for reference, the most common way of introducing oneself is Weruf Go Siao, and then your name. So myself, for DFB, it would be Weruf Go Siao for DFB. So now let's introduce someone else. And just this, let's say you have to get people's attention. You would do this, you could do this a bunch of ways, but the example given on the blog, and probably the best way to do it, is just like in English. You'd say, may I have your attention, please? Or some other form of that. And to do this in Na'vi is Rute ting mikyun mafrapo. Rute ving mikyun mafrapo. And that's literally, your attention, please, everyone. Or more colloquially in English would probably be, everyone, may I have your attention, please? So the first word, rute, is please. Then we have tiving, which is give, ting, with the subjunctive infix iv. So tiving, which is may give, may you give. And then we have ear, which is mikyun. Mikyun. So literally, it's please, may you give me an ear. Give me your ear. So, your attention, please, is rute tiving mikyun. Rute ting mikyun. Yeah, you gotta watch out. That English speakers will tend to make that mikyun into a mikyun. And I'm certainly guilty of this. So, rute tiving mikyun is your attention, please. And then the second bit is who you're addressing. In this case, we picked everyone, so ma frappo. Ma frappo. And ma is the vocative marker, and frappo is the word for everyone. You could place this with something else, like my friends. Ma'oea elan. Ma'oea elan. Which would be vocative. Oea is my, and then elan is the pluralized friend. So, going to over the whole thing is to say, your attention, please, everyone, is rute tiving mikyun mafrapo. Rute tiving mikyun mafrapo. Rute tiving mikyun mafrapo. Now, once you've introduced, or once you've got everyone's attention, you'll want to give an introduction before you introduce the person. And in English, you might do something like, allow me to introduce my colleague. And in Na'vi, a way to say this would be, ngaru oea lertu. Ngaru oea lertu. And that's basically literally saying, to you, my colleague is. To you, my colleague. And so the first word is ngaru, which is the pronoun you with the dative suffix. So ngaru, ngaru. Then we have the pronoun I, or me, which is oe, with the genitive suffix, ya. So oea, oea is my. And lertu is colleague, and there's the patientive suffix on the end of that, which is just a T, because at the end of a sentence and end of the word, it turns into a unreleased stop. So it's not really a silent T, but I think I talked about this earlier in an earlier guide. It's you start off saying the T, the t sound, but you stop before you make the little puff of air. So it's lertu. There's plenty of guides online, so I'd look it up if you're having trouble with it. But there's a T on the end there. So the whole thing is to you, my colleague. Ngaru oea lertu. Ngaru oea lertu. Which is allow me to introduce my colleague. Ngaru oea lertu. Ngaru oea lertu. Well, you've got everyone's attention and you've given an introduction of what you're doing. You're introducing your colleague. Then you might say something like, Fetute lu netiri. This person is netiri. Or you could say, Poeru fko siau netiri. She called netiri. But that whole thing's really long-winded. Your attention, please, everyone. Allow me to introduce my colleague. She is called netiri. That's a mouthful and a half. So in English and in Na'vi, you'd probably condense it down to one sentence. For example, let's introduce our sister, Newe. And in English, you'd probably say, everybody, please allow me to introduce to you my sister, Newe. Which is highly formalized for English, but it would make sense in Na'vi. So to do that in Na'vi, we would say, Mafrapo angaru oea smukit alu newe. Mafpo angaru oea smukit alu newe. And so the beginning part of this is mafrapo, which we had earlier. It's a vocative marker ma with the Na'vi word frapo, which is everyone. So that's saying everybody. Angaru is the plural pronoun you, so you all, with the dative suffix ru. So that's saying to you all, and that word's angaru. Then we have the my, the word not the word for my again, which is the pronoun for I or me, with the genitive suffix ya. So oea, oea. Then we have word for sister with the patientive suffix it. So that's smukit, smukit, smukit. And the normal word for sister, or this sister in English implies feminine. Smukit is actually neutered. It doesn't imply either one. It would be assumed by context. You see Newe there, and you go, "Oh, hey, she's a girl. Must be sister, rather than brother." Na'vi tends to do this. So we have smukit, and the original word for the neutered brotherster is smuk. Smuk. So we have smukit. We have the word for kind of which is alu. Alu. And finally, we have her name, Newe. Newe. So in summary, the whole thing is mafrapo, angaru, oea, smukit, alu, newe. Mafrapo, angaru, oea, smukit, alu, newe. Right, so we now know how to introduce a person. And a bunch of ways we could do that. And you mix and match and come out with different forms of that. You could say maspukaan aingaru oea elan alu karu pau, which is my brother or brothers. Please allow me to introduce my friend, Dr. Paul. And so you can mix and match and combine things and shorten or lengthen or do different forms, and it's pretty flexible. Again, this is all just about pronunciation, and so this is trying to give you a guide to learn and practice how Na'vi sounds and how it's spoken. One thing that is good to note is things in Na'vi, the vocative marker ma, the way it comes out, everyone, please allow me to introduce to you my sister Newe. It sounds fairly formal, but in actuality, in Na'vi, that's the translations aren't that formal. It's kind of a problem of taking the literal translation of Na'vi and turning it into an English translation. It tends to come out a little formal, even though it isn't. Na'vi denotes formality with things like full names, the ceremonial infix on verbs, and then most specifically, the honorific pronouns. And all of these are used in highly formalized or ceremonial situations. So, and these are very infrequently used. You hear them once in the movie. I've used them about twice or three times in speaking Na'vi. You don't use them too much. But it's good to know they exist, and it's good to know how they sound. And the two most common honorific pronouns are probably the one for the singular pronoun, I or me, and that's ohe. It adds an H in the middle, so ohe. And then the honorific pronoun for you is ngengaru. It adds an NGE to the start, so nge, ngengaru, ngengaru. And then you have the plurals versus that. So you all would be aingengaru. And I might be butchering that a little because, like I said, I hardly use that word, so it's not one that's commonly used. That's really in my vocabulary that much. So do as I say, not as I do. It's the NG sound with an e on the end. So nge ngaru, nge ngaru. All right. So to say a formalized version of the allow me to introduce to you my sister Newe. We'll use Newe's full name, which is given in the example as Newe Tetsakaha Soren Ite. I get sight reading names is really hard for me, but so it's Newe Tetsakaha Soren Ite. So that we have that Na'vi word te, which denotes full name. Newe is their first name or common name, whatever the Na'vi version of that is, and then they have their full name Tetskaha Sorenite. Moving on. So in Na'vi, full sentence, allow me to introduce my sister Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. Is normalized. It is Aingengaru Oheya Smukit Alu Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. Sorenite. Yeah. This is hard for me too. So honestly, if you're struggling with this, don't worry. This is just, the honorific pronouns are hardly used. I'm just trying to give them out examples. So let me try to break this down for you. The first word, aingengaru, is the honorific you all with the dative suffix. So to you all, aingengaru. Then we have the pronoun, the singular pronoun for I or me with the genitive suffix, and it's in the honorific form. So it's oheya, oheya. And then we have the neutered brother sister sibling word, tsmuk, with the patientive suffix, tsmukit. Alu, again, who is, what is. And then we have Newe's full name, Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. Sorenite. And so in the, to say it all fully is excuse me, Aingaru Oheya Smukit Alu Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. Aingaru Oheya Smukit Alu Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. So that's the honorific pronouns. And so in review, we can do your attention, please, everyone. Rute, tiveng, mikun, mafrapo. And then we have allow me to introduce my colleague, Ngaru Oweya Lerdu. And we have everyone, please allow me to introduce to you my sister Newe, mafrapo, Ngaru Oweya Smukit Alu Newe. And finally, the honorific or ceremonial version of that, which is Aingengaru Oheya Smukit Alu Newe Tetskaha Sorenite. All right, so I hope this has been informative, and I hope this worked out well. It didn't take too long to make, and hopefully I can do these a little more often. I feel bad that the last one was done in April. And as a final note, I just want to point out that I'm still learning. I'm always learning. We are always. I doubt there's anyone who knows Na'vi perfectly, and there probably will be that way for quite a while. So if you find an error in my pronunciation, please point it out in the video. If you find something that I can improve upon, or you think something I should note, I'll see if I can add it or put in an annotation to point it out. And last but not least, understand that because learning, I might make small mistakes. Don't take everything I say as gospel. do as I say, not as I do. So, let me just say, ki vame, o te ewa ngahu, o te Ivong Na'vi.